Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. UFC 304 is in the books. Belal, remember the name, Ty. He is your new welterweight champion. This is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by the Ty Capone. Ty was fired up at home watching his boy Belal Muhammad win. You know what? It's not even about him or anything. He fights classically one of the most boring styles of all time. And now we're going to be forced to have to watch him in a high leverage title fight where he's probably the main event again. And, we're going to get into all of it. But, Ty, how did you enjoy the card? Did you enjoy everything, the spectacle that was a 5 a.m. fight in Manchester?
It started out pretty well. I mean, great, but the knockouts, we had a back-to-back arm triangles, and then we had a long run of decisions. I think Dana White said something about that, right? He was pretty critical. He was pretty not happy, it seemed. He was pretty fired up at the post-fight press conference. It seems like he's always in a bad mood. He also can't hear, right? Anytime somebody asks a question, he looks over and he's like, what? Huh? I don't know what's going on with Dana. He's starting to lose his marbles a little bit, it seems like.
I don't think he really cares about this shit anymore because he can't really make much money off. I really think he's like kind of mailed it in on this shit. We've been talking about it on here for a while.
You know, the Makayev thing I get in a way, but to pretty much say he's already gone from the UFC like minutes after the fight, in which he won. He's a top 5 undefeated fighter in his weight class, and he's 23 years old. I mean, there's something to work with there, I think. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm guessing it has a lot to do with what happened backstage. I guess he asked Manel Kape for a picture, and then he punched him. Yeah. That's pretty wild. Manel Kape also, that's not the guy I would do that to, but I guess it didn't matter. He ends up winning the fight anyway in a very boring fight. He's also grabbing pants,
he wanted to see you naked, brother. I saw a couple of those tweets. I was like, oh wow.
He's an interesting character for sure. But just downright not re-signing him is it's quite the decision to make. But whatever, I guess. But even some of those decision fights that went to decision were not that bad. I thought Nathaniel Wood looked good, Bruno Brazil looked good, Jake Hadley looked good. The Arnold Allen fight was kind of disappointing for me. And then we got Hobo Cop, should have got that finished, but then Paddy Pimblett wakes the crowd up. Tom Aspinall keeps the crowd going, and then everybody goes back to sleep for the main event. Yeah. So it was it was kind of a roller coaster of an event, right? So I'll come from behind win from Bukaki, our boy.
Yeah.
Again,
he was. My man was doing the chicken dance all up and down the octagon at points during that fight, dude. That was not a good showing by Bukaki.
King of the chicken dance, for sure. He's one of the creators. Brzezinski's definitely up there too. He did one that was really nice. So, what did you think of the card? We had some good fights, but there was just a lot. It took a while, and then the main event ruined it.
There was a lot. But, again, like, some of these events, there just seems to be, like, lulls where there's just nothing. Like, some of these, like, fights were just so, like, you once you got past, like, the first, other than the Shauna Bannon fight, which I didn't think that was that bad overall. I mean, those girls just aren't that good. But the Mick Parkin, Sam Patterson, Bukaki, even the Obon Elliott Preston Parsons fight was pretty good. That was very competitive. But then, and we were very excited for the Makayev Kape fight. Like I think that's where it started to go downhill. As soon as that happened, we were like, oh my god, these guys, they have security in the cage. They had the big bald guy in there who I don't know what, he has to be involved in some sort of special forces or something. He terrifies me every time I see him. But and then that fight was just nothing. Nothing happened. Like. I at one point I saw the odds and I was like, how is Makayev up this much? But it's like he was outpointing him and he was out grappling him in sections. But it's just like, who care? I don't care. It did nothing for me. The fight was boring. I didn't even think he was really winning, even though he was winning. So it's then Jake Hadley. That wasn't really his fault. The Don stinks. That there was nothing to be seen there. Bruno Brazil beat the dog shit out of Molly McCann. We'll get into all of it, but I think just we got back to the once the main card started, you started to get to see some serious talent and good fights. But there was just like big periods of this card where like I could imagine falling asleep. You see all the videos of the people falling asleep in the stands. It was pretty fun. Pretty wild.
Well, it was late, right, over there.
Well, the main event I don't think went off until around 5:30. 5 o'clock, 5:30, the local time. So that's
that's brutal.
That is brutal, and I don't understand why they did this. To be honest, if you're gonna cater to an audience, why don't you have it at a reasonable time for them to actually enjoy You should have been like an afternoon card if that's what they really wanted to do. If you want to go over to England, help these people out. 4. Well, let's segue right into it. The main event, Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad kind of just shuts him out, right? I mean, other than it seemed like Leon woke up in the very last minute of. He started to really lower some punishment there, at the very end, but it was too little, too late. I don't know if I want to say shocked, but I guess I am a little just shocked by how non-competitive Leon was for the majority of this fight. It really wasn't all that close. It never really, you really just had that feel like a couple 48-47s, but it really didn't feel like a 48-47 fight. Would you agree, Ty? I don't think, there was a 49-46 in there. And, it seemed like the judges were kind of split on a couple of these different rounds, but what did you make of it? Obviously you just realized that, I don't know. I have a lot of different thoughts. I'm kind of scatterbrained right now, so I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of non-competitive for a large portion in that middle area, right? The beginning and the end. I think the first and fifth round were somewhat competitive. I think Leon got the first round on one of the scorecards. He didn't get he got the fifth on one as well. I thought he probably won the fifth just because of that elbow.
Yeah,
that opened him up. Nothing else happened that round. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I wish he did more of that, obviously. And there was a time where I thought, okay, he's gonna be able to get some reversals and some sweeps, and it happened a little bit early, and then in the middle rounds again, he got slammed on his head.
Yeah,
picked up and just put down easily. I know he blamed. He kind of made an excuse. It might be valid, it might not be, but he said he was tired the whole time.
Yeah, come on, man.
I don't think anybody else was. So I don't know about that one, but he definitely looked, didn't look like himself. He didn't look good at all. But he just got stifled pretty much by Belal. 9 of 13 on takedowns, very impressive. 12 minutes of control, outstruck him total and in significant strikes. Didn't really mix up his tack. Belal kind of just went to the head a lot. Where Leon likes going to the body. Leon had some little pockets of success, but really just couldn't put it together for a win. And
and his lack of activity, I think, came back to bite him, like we've talked about.
71 significant strikes thrown in 5 rounds. It's not going to win you any kind of championship or retain the championship. So yeah, and he got a couple takedowns of his own. He got a couple reversals, but it didn't really matter.
Yeah, and it didn't. It seemed like he was more willing to let Belal do his thing and try to play his game rather than just trying to make. I guess I overestimated the advantage that Leon would have on the feet because it really didn't seem like that advantage was all that much there. He obviously it just. I don't know, Ty. I left this thinking that I need to readjust my thinking on maybe Belal Muhammad. Maybe Belal Muhammad's just good. Maybe it's finally now that he's got the belt around his waist, I have to acknowledge that the man is elite. His skill set is very tough. He's very good at, I wouldn't say, I think we've said this before, he's not great at really any one thing. He's just like above average at everything. He's very competent and good at everything inside the cage. There's no real weakness in his game. So it's going to be tough if you don't have your A game and you're not really A plus in one department, then you're not really going to you're not going to be able to find success against Belal. And that's what it seemed like with Leon, because Leon's in a sense kind of similar. He's not really A plus in any sort of one thing. And he kind of got exposed a little bit on Saturday night, and good, kudos to Belal, man. He deserved it. He fought his way up. I didn't agree with the sitting out and arguing with this guy or that guy or waiting for your title shot, but it worked out. It paid off. He went into Manchester and took the belt right off of Leon Rocky Edwards, so he deserves all the credit in the world.
Yeah, going into somebody's backyard and doing that is always impressive. I always remember when Anthony Johnson went into Stockholm, Sweden, and absolutely put Alexander Gustafsson's lights out. One of the first fights I really have a recollection of betting on. I remember watching it in my dad's room at my old house in Jersey because I forgot it had started. I was like, oh, shit, and I just threw it on, and he absolutely killed it. The crowd was going crazy, and then at the end they were like, damn. You could hear a pin drop. So no matter how they do it, going into somebody's home country, and beating them and then taking the belt from them is pretty boss shit. Wins for Palestine. That's super cool to see. Also, the first man 35 plus years of age to win a belt below 205 pounds since Tyron Woodley. So, there's that whole curse.
Yeah.
Of and I think even then Tyron Woodley beat besides Darren Till, he beat
Wonder Boy,
who was older. So
yeah,
really, and Leon's 32, but still in his prime. And so Belal Muhammad making some history in multiple ways. He's on an absolute heater of a win streak. I have seen some people notice that his head has grown in similar comparison to Barry Bonds.
Okay.
During his prime. So I'm not sure if there's anything to be, I don't know if he's juicing or not, but
I did see a couple remember the steroids tweets. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. I'm just saying that there is a conversation going on about that out there.
And to be fair, I honestly don't give a fuck. Juice all you want,
Well, I mean, they're testing is all the same. If you're not getting caught, then I really can't. I can speculate all I want, but if I can't be that much of a hater where I thought you stunk, and then you've beaten all these guys, and you win the championship, and now I'm finding a new way to hate on you. Like, you just
listen.
At some point, I just got to respect the game, man.
They tried to book Mackenzie Dern's new husband like 7 times, and that guy pisses through fucking metal.
Yep.
So I don't think it matters. Who do you think is next? I think it has to be our boy, the prince that was promised, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yeah, I think we had a couple futures bets that maybe by the end of this year he would be the welterweight champion.
We don't have much time left.
I know we don't have much time left. I wish we could have had a bookie take those bets. I mean, I would be sweating this thing out because I think we had Islam to be champion at the end of the year and Shavkat to be the new champ, which that would have been one hell of a couple futures to hit there. But I do have a couple of matchups that I've already booked for our new champion. I think there's only one person that can be matched up, and that's Shavkat. It has to be Shavkat. He is the next in line. He has earned it. He's number 3. There's nobody above him that really.
Still being one is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there because he doesn't really fight at 170 anymore, and he's kind of just sitting on that spot. But again, I don't really take that too serious. I don't take that to heart. It is what it is. I'm not gonna, he's just there. I don't really take that spot all that serious. So Shavkat or Leon probably would drop to 1. Shavkat's probably 2, and Leon's not going to get a straightaway title shot rematch. So I don't think that is worthy. So I think it's automatically Shavkat. Second, a distant second would probably be JDM. I think he is worthy, but I think he needs one more title or one more fight at this upper echelon to kind of prove that he's next. And I think Leon could match up with one of those kind of people, him or even Ian Gary. And Ian Gary is right there on that outside, and I think he's could flirt with getting a title shot. And he I don't know if he's necessarily going to be next, but he is a guy who is one more, and he's there. So I think either one of those matchups, I think there's going to kind of be a musical chairs thing going on here. I don't know who, or when Belal's going to be ready to go again. I don't know how active he's going to be. From past, his hearing him talk and just knowing Belal, that he's probably going to, really relish having won this title and really just kind of make us hate him so much. So.
He's already talking about he wants to fight, at 185 and get 2 belts, fight Dricus. Whatever that.
Just nonsense.
They all do that, something that Taporia was talking about, and everyone's like, bro, you haven't even defended your belt yet. That apparently, speaking of that, that fight got made for 308. I don't know if it's officially official, but it seemed like Max and Taporia. Now, they're fighting in Abu Dhabi, which is not ideal, but I think time-wise it matches up with Spain's time. So I think that's that could be the reason they did that. Maybe they couldn't put it in Spain, which I don't understand how. If you just go to where Barcelona plays or Madrid and just have the event there, I mean, that place would absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know the logistics of it, I guess, but they're going to Abu Dhabi for Max and Ilya, and I think time wise, it adds up. It makes sense, but definitely an odd location for a Spaniard, Georgian, born in Germany against a Hawaiian.
Yeah, and I'm also sure there's plenty of indoor arenas they could find in Spain if they really needed to if they're worried about the weather or filling that place up. Like, I don't think that would really be the problem. I don't know. You know, they just it seems like Ty, we've discussed many times, the UFC kind of likes to take the easy way out. He keeps talking about this Sphere card and how I've sunk $20 million into it. It's no one's ever gonna. It's like, this thing's going to disappoint somehow. It's not. It's
already.
I mean, the fights are already suck. Like, I don't really care what cool graphics are on the Sphere. That won't mean shit to me. It's just,
Yeah, I mean, like when we're watching the main card, and you have Ronaldo Rodriguez and Ode Osborne, you're like, this is a feature bout.
Yeah,
that seems uninspiring. Now it probably won't be. It'll probably be.
I saw a couple. He made a couple. It was Brian Ortega and
Diego Lopez.
It was O'Malley and Marab, and then they're running Grasso Shevchenko that night.
Well, so I guess the card's finalized because they said there's only going to be 10 fights, and there's only 10 on there. So it looks like it's going to be O'Malley, Marab, Grasso, Val. I'm guessing the feature would be Ortega Lopez. You got Zellhuber, Ribovic. That's a sleeper.
Yeah.
Ronaldo Rodriguez. Actually, he might be something, but Ode Osborne's a bum. We don't need to see that. Rene Aldana, Norma Dumont. We both like that.
Yep.
Ketlin Sosa, Yasmin Harogi, Edgar Charez, Kevin Borjas, Bahamondes, Manuel Torres, Richie Lang, Raul Rosas.
Yeah. No one really
good
cares.
matchups, but it kind of lacks a lot, especially in the prelims. It's like, so we're having a 5 card prelim and a 5 card main card, 5 fight main card, and there's probably only 3 fights that people care about. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like. I'm not
a 10-fight pay-per-view.
I mean, whatever.
It's going to start at 6, and then I guess it's going to end early, right? So that's cool. It'll end at like 11 or 12. But again, this is something that he was hyping up to be like, no, this will be the biggest, best sporting event ever. Like, not UFC event, not mixed martial arts or combat sports, but like the best, biggest sporting event spectacle in history. I'm like, I don't even know if it's better than any, bigger than how Floyd and Pacquiao was, because that event was, the fight sucked, but. The atmosphere itself, everybody was at that fight. So I don't know about that one, but I guess we'll see. September 14th, 2 weeks after I depart from Vegas, they will be walking in that bitch, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like to sit in there. Probably 10,000 at least. I don't know.
I don't know. It looks bizarre. The whole this. I don't know.
It seems bizarre.
The setup for it, like, it seems like it would be weird, but I'm not. I don't.
Right.
I'm no expert, so I'm.
Imagine being drunk in there. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would think that I was falling off the face of the earth. I don't. It says it seats 18,000 people, and 20,000 including the floor. So I don't know. And it doesn't look like it's set up for like a circular seating. It kind of seems like a concert venue. That's the way it's. I've seen it set up, but I've only seen it set up for like U2 and the videos that I've seen people post. So. Whatever, who really? That's UFC's problem. They'll have cool graphics and everything, and we'll be sweating out our bets because that's the only reason we're really watching this is to watch the actual fights. While hope our bets hit and just enjoy mixed martial arts. Not really worried about cool graphics on a screen. So, Ty, any last thoughts on the Leon Edwards? I don't really have much. I don't buy the excuse. I don't think Leon. I think maybe Leon just kind of got exposed. And how about here's a question I posed for you. Do you think Leon ever finds his way back to the title, to winning the title, I should say? I mean, I think he'll probably get another shot at it at some point. But do you think is that the last time he touches the gold?
It might be. I mean, it's always tough for guys to reclaim that throne, right? It doesn't happen that often. But just kind of looking at the division, I mean, it's kind of there's kind of a lot of older guys. Colby, Kamaru. I mean, even Belal, he's 36.
Gilbert
Burns is getting old. Sean Brady, we'll see. Wonder Boy's old. Jeff Neal's old. And then, the next crop of contenders is supposed to be like Joaquin Buckley, Sean Brady, Ian Gary, Jack Della, and Shafkat. Besides Shafkat and Jack Della, I'm not really too convinced that Leon loses to any of these guys, but I could see him in a year or two fighting Ian Gary, maybe just getting outpointed. He definitely just needs to win whatever his next fight is, and he's right back there. Maybe they run it back with Usman, probably not, but
yeah.
I don't think he wins the title again. I do not think. I think it's going to be Shavkat who has the belt, or Jack Della, and I think Leon probably loses to both.
Yeah, I think we would have picked Shavkat over if that fight would have happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
We were both going to pick Shavkat for that. And I think Shavkat beats Belal, but I think that is a fascinating fight. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be easy work for Shavkat, but I still would take him. I wonder what the odds would probably. You think Shavkat probably be favorited? I think it would probably be like minus 180, 90, maybe close to 200. I don't know. I don't know how highly he's valued in the gambling space. I mean, he's usually been minus 400, but this would kind of be a bigger step up in competition than he's usually accustomed to. So
for sure.
How about Tom Aspinall, Ty, making it look relatively easy once again? 1 minute, he gets Curtis Blades out of there, cashes both of our bets. Yours TKO, mine round 1. I mean, the dip in the hands in petrol is just apparently is a cheat code. So I love that he was that video of him sending it to Ariel, and Ariel's just like, "Come on, when you talked about that on the pod, I was like, I gotta go watch that," and it's just him cracking up, like, "Come on, man, I believed you," and he's like, "You're an idiot, mate." But
you're dumb lad.
I mean, listen, Aspinall has walked through everyone. And I mean everyone that they've put in front of him, and Curtis Blades was the only blip on that whole, that path, and he just eviscerated him and made that look easy. So, Ty, I mean, really, the only question that's left for Mr. Aspinall is, will he beat John Jones, and more importantly, will that fight ever even happen or occur? So, I say no. I think John's going to retire after the Stipe fight. But what say you about Tom Aspinall's performance?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think it's flawless. I don't think anything about his game is flawless, but he is going to be hard to beat for anybody up there. I mean, it's not just because the level of competition at heavyweight is so weak and very, very shallow. He's so big and quick and hits so hard. He doesn't need much.
No.
And I think a lot of people kind of discount how good he is on the ground too. So it's not like that's an easy way to beat somebody like Cyril Gane. I think that is how John would want to beat him and how he would try to fight him. But Aspinall's a big boy, man. He might be bigger than John. He's definitely younger. He's definitely quicker, and he's definitely the better striker. I think maybe one of the toughest matchups for Aspinall would probably be like Derek Lewis. Stylistically, which is saying a lot, just because he's big. Hits hard and actually has some hand speed too. Other than that, I mean, Curtis Blades hit him with a nice jab, and then he threw out his game plan. He threw a nice 1-2, and then he, I guess he said he completely abandoned his game plan and didn't even get to use his wrestling. He said he thinks he would have won that fight easily. Of course,
Corey, they always say.
Yeah, he got hit with a small little quick 1-2, and he went down, and that was, I think he was protesting the stoppage a little bit. I think he was fine. I mean, he was on his stomach. Not really guarding his face, getting hit hard with some hammers. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I mean, if it's not John Jones, I mean, who the hell is next? Cyril Gane? I think Tom Aspinall beats Cyril Gane. And then it's Volkov is 3. Volkov I like him. I like this little resurgence, but he is slow, so slow. So. You know what happened against him in Aspinall? I think they already fought. Aspinall key locked him, right?
Aspinall walked through him.
Straight armbarred him on the ground.
So he made that look so easy. I remember that. That was a couple of years ago, though. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
If anything, Aspinall's the one who, he literally just walked right through him, made that shit look easy. That was in 2022. So,
he's only been the brilliant part of Tom Aspinall. His cage time is like one of it might be the shortest in history. Some of his stats are just nuts. I mean, 8 strikes landed per minute, 67 strike accuracy, takedown accuracy 100%, takedown defense 100%. He's a beast. I mean, look at all these quick fights. Jake Collier 45 seconds, Alan Bono 135. Andrei Arlovsky, of all people, took him to the second round. Yeah. Spivak 2 minutes 30, Volkov 3.5 minutes. 1 minute for Tybura, 1 minute for Pavlovich, 1 minute for Blades. That's 3 minutes and 22 seconds in the last three fights. Just straight domination. And I think all of them ended the same way with that straight right, or at least like a 1-2. He just sets it up, and he's so good, so quick, so long. And he's also, I like him. I mean, after the fight, he's not talking too much shit. He's kind of like that polite Brit. He's like, listen, John, no disrespect, I'm better. And
I beat you in a fight, man.
It's kind of hard to disagree. At this point in time, we don't know what John's doing. We don't know where he's at.
Yeah,
could be getting arrested again. Who knows?
Listen,
and he's fighting 48-year-old Stipe. I think we know what's going to happen there.
John's old, man. Like John's gotten older. He's had a lot of time off. He's coming off of a torn pec. Like a lot of those, and he's up in weight now. He's not fighting at 205 anymore. So all of those factors come into play when you're talking about a guy in Tom Aspinall who's at the very top of his game. He's in his absolute prime. He is destroying everyone in his path. And I don't that's what I'm saying. Like I don't see how. I mean, I think, like you said, I think John would try to take him down and probably try to treat him like Cyril Gane, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. I don't think Aspinall is going to look lost on the ground like Cyril Gane did in that fight. So I think he would have way more trouble taking him down like he did there. I think John's going to have a tough time getting his hands on him. It's just that's the way I see it right now. Maybe if I go out and John looks. And I know he's fighting Stipe, but I'm just saying from his physical standpoint, because even you would admit when we watched that Gane fight, it was like, wow, he did dominate him and he cooked him, but like I don't think he looked like great skill wise. He wasn't like super fast and sharp. Like he still looked like like he hadn't fought in a while, and then he takes another year off. Not his fault, but there's a lot of factors that go into this fight, and I just don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he wants anything to do with it, and I don't blame him, to be honest. But there you go. How about Paddy Pimblett, Ty? Cashing out my plus 510 bet. Thank you, Mr. Pimblett. Thank you, King Green, for being a fucking moron and shooting a takedown on him for absolutely no reason. I mean, he was getting chipped up a little bit, but that's again like I said. What did I say in the preview pod? You just can't trust King Green. You can't trust. I was cracking up at Paddy, yelling at him during the weigh-ins, going, "Come on, Robert! Come on, Robert!" Just trying to piss him off, calling him Robert. It was so funny because Bobby's getting so pissed, just yelling at him. He's like, "Oh, what are you so mad about, Robert?" He's such a fucking weirdo, Paddy Pimblett, but it works. And his jiu-jitsu, his ground game is elite. It is up there at the highest of levels. MMA is a weird game. He couldn't finish Tony Ferguson, but he made pretty short work of Bobby Green. Changes that guillotine into a triangle into a combined arm bar, puts him out cold, unconscious. Paddy Pimblett, submission victory.
Terrence McKinney, my boy, said the fight was fixed.
Okay, there we go.
I'll take that for.
I don't want to
take
say
that for what you will.
That may be offensive to him, but
yeah, I mean, what happened if T. McKinney got in there with Paddy Pimblett, right? That fight's ending quick, so Terrence McKinney's wiping the floor with him. So we'll see if that fight gets made in the future.
Okay. Yeah, it's so fuck.
But that's big for that's huge for Paddy. Doing that. I mean, the point of the fight. The point in that fight card where everybody was, waiting for something to happen, and he exploded. I mean, how quick was that? Like a minute?
3 minutes.
A minute and a half. 3 minutes. So, that woke everybody up. That was a big sub. You had it.
Yeah.
And now he's putting himself. I guess he's going to be ranked, right? It's a very, very difficult field in front of him. I mean, his next fight's probably going to be like Benoit Saint-Denis or Jalen Turner or Dan Hooker. Somebody in that mold. Maybe that'd be a good fight. I think he absolutely smokes Paddy, but those
other
X factor.
I don't want to see BSD just go to work on him, dude.
I do. I definitely do. I would love to. Maybe Dariush or somebody that's not ranked right outside that top 15. That's going to be like a tough test. I could see, but I think it's time to. Not fast track him, but he's still young. But you want to keep that hype around him. You don't want to throw him in there with BST most likely. But remember who was it? It was Taporia, right? They were trying to say that they should both fight when they were both
yeah.
rising prospects. He's still not ranked. It's Poirier's the champ at 145, but yeah, I think that's huge for him. King Green, no, I'm not going to call him that anymore. Bobby Green, Robert Green, is probably going to switch rankings with Patty.
He should.
And yeah, we'll see what he does next. I don't know when they're going back to England or Europe in general, but I'm sure he'll be on one of those cards.
Yeah.
And
can't wait to see Patty fight in 3 years, whenever that, or whenever he decides to get back in the cage and get back in the gym. The bad thing is now, Ty, is that Patty's gonna have a soft spot in my heart for cashing me out there, and really just giving me a couple of coins to play with going into the end of the night. I always make the mistake though. I win big. I have a good night, and then I try to put it. I try to do 2.5, 3 unit play on the main event, and I lose. All the winnings that I had. Going in there. So it just kind of puts a damper on the night. But yeah, I think Paddy Pimblett against any one of those guys that are, lined up ahead of him in that 55 division is going to be a tough test. Really, I like, Rafael Dos Anjos, maybe that would probably be a good matchup for him. Dan Hooker, Moicano would be that would be a fun build up for sure. Yeah.
I can't imagine what they would say to each other.
You know who was crying? Your mother when I was laying the pipe. That's one of my favorite. Moicano has some of the greatest clips when he's streaming that people get in his chat just to piss him off, and then he starts going off for no reason. But
laying the pipe, brother.
I was laying the pipe on your mom, brother. So yeah, listen, please, for the love of God, don't put him in there with Benoit Saint-Denis. I don't.
No, they should.
I know you hate. I don't hate him the way you hate him. I don't want to see that for his own sake. That would be quite a halt to the hype train. But Ty, HoboCop gets it done. Not the way we wanted, but he did smash Christian Leroy Duncan, kind of in just a dominant. Use that grappling. I thought we were getting close there, Ty. I thought.
Oh man, that sub. It's coming.
I thought that sub was inbound. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. We didn't get it, but a great performance from Mr. HoboCop. We he needed that for sure, and I guess not much to say other than that. It just Leroy Duncan kind of in over his head.
Yeah. There's just a big step up from his previous fight, so I think he's good. He's talented, but it just was not. It was not his night. I mean, Rodriguez is a tough motherfucker to beat. I know he's a little chinny, but for the most part, he's ready to die in there. So, and he's so well rounded. It's something that we obviously didn't see that much in some of his fights. But I remember he picked him up and slammed him. That just shows you how strong he is, because Christian Leroy Duncan's big, man. He is. I mean, they're both cut out of metal, but Rodriguez's size, his speed, his combination of skills. I think I don't want to say the sky's the limit for him, because I do think he is a little chinny. He likes to brawl, likes to come forward recklessly. He's not that far removed from getting knocked out by Renan Ferreira, which is not a good loss at all. At least the Petrosian loss before that was somewhat respectable.
Yeah.
The Jordan Williams knockout loss was a long time ago. We don't have to talk about that, even though that was
it's insane
not
that
good.
happened.
Not good as well. Yeah, what is Jordan Williams up to these days? Beaumaye is his nickname. Yeah. He hasn't fought since the Ian Gary fight, so I guess he's back in accounting. But that's 3 in a row since the Ferreira loss, and it's 2 wins this year, 2 good wins. So we'll see what's next for me. 7-2 in the UFC. He's 32, decently mix of youth and veteran presence. Ready to how many fights has he got now? 21 fights. I don't know, man. I think he can make some noise up there. I don't know how much, but I'm definitely on the HoboCop bandwagon.
Ty, he's just always going to be real hit or miss. It's going to be all matchup dependent. I don't think he'll ever really break into that top 10-ish area. Where he's going to run into the Caio Barretos and the Roman Dolidze kind of guys, and he's going to run into some trouble, because even like Apollo Costa could find his chin, and it could be curtains, because like you said, he's chinny, he's tough, he's durable, but he also the one shot, and it just is a night ender, and he invites the violence into these fights, even when he doesn't necessarily need to. So not necessarily trustworthy, but it is matchup dependent. And in a situation like this where a guy, is greener than him, he can take care of business, and he did on Saturday night.
And
Ty?
he's going to have to take a big step up, too, because he's
Yeah.
probably going to be around that 15-ish range. So if he's going to be in that top 15 in middleweight, it's not amazingly stacked, but it's pretty deep. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at Hamzat's 11, Bahayo's 12, Michelle Pereira at 13, and Fluffy at 14. Those are really good fighters,
Yeah.
man. Even Curtis at 15 is a tough out.
Yep.
I think Curtis is fighting Kevin Holland coming up in a couple months.
And
So
wasn't Fluffy supposed to fight somebody?
I thought Fluffy was supposed to fight
Was it Pereira?
Pereira, yeah.
That's what I thought too. That's a great fight too. So it's like maybe after that, all that shakes out, you find something for him to do after that.
It's gonna be tough for sure. Like
exactly,
you said.
like you said, it's going to be a big step up in competition, and who knows what the future holds for him. How about Arnold Allen taking out Giga Chikadze in a unanimous decision victory? Not exactly the most barn-burning, exciting fight, but a good performance by Arnold Allen. We kind of talked about it. I don't really think Giga's that good. He's kind of good on Giga for surviving this, and he got hit hard a couple times, but it's just I'm not really I'm not a big Giga guy. I may have been at one point when he finished Edson Barbosa, but he just doesn't seem he seems very just like basic and rudimentary, and I don't know if that's going to really have success at the upper echelon of this 45 division.
Especially as he gets older, he's 35, so
Yeah.
he's probably going to lose something, footwork or speed. And once that happens, I think he's a little chinny, and I think he is a little just boring. He kind of has a very basic style, just wants to throw those kicks on the outside.
Yeah.
Doesn't really, kind of stays in the first gear the whole fight. The third round was a big indicator of that. Arnold Allen put his foot on the gas pedal to make sure he won that, because I think he lost the second round, or was it the first? Either way, I'm pretty sure it was 1-1 going in the third, and then Arnold Allen easily won that. So, yeah, not much grappling. I think Arnold Allen only went for one takedown. Didn't get it, so that was interesting. But, yeah, not really much else to say on that, honestly. It was just kind of happened.
Yeah, Giga did win the first round, and then, yeah, you're right. He just turned it on. All three judges gave that first round to Giga. So, he was up, and then it just...
And then he wasn't.
And then he wasn't. Arnold Allen was just always going to find a way to win this fight, especially if the fight went to the distance. It was like, I felt like it was a lock. Giga was going to have to find a way to get him out of there, and I just didn't see that happening. How about... That was the main card. On to the prelim section. Nathaniel Wood takes out Daniel Pineda. This fight was very boring. I watched this one very intently. Daniel Pineda didn't really wake up until that third round, and by then it was really just too late. He had taken a 10-8 on a few scorecards. Nathaniel Wood I thought was going to get him out of there, but he didn't. And not really against him. Daniel Pineda stayed tough in there, and Daniel Pineda is that ultimate veteran sort of presence, and just you're going to have to hit him with a hammer to get him out of there, even though plenty of people have hit him with hammers and gotten him out of there. Just Nathaniel Wood's not that kind of guy.
Yeah, and I guess multiple fighters struggled with sleep on this card. Tom Aspinall said he didn't sleep for, 22 hours, and Nathaniel Wood said he didn't sleep for 48 hours before this fight. I guess his daughter went to the emergency room back home, so he was obviously stressing about that. And he says he doesn't really sleep on the night before anyway, on weight cut night, I guess is what he doesn't really sleep on that. So with all that going on, that's kind of crazy. Really makes you think what's going on with some of these guys, in their life before they fight.
Yeah.
So good on him. Yeah, it wasn't the best fight. Pineda's getting older. He's the quality of fights that he's going to give are going to start to dwindle, and he's probably at his very close to the end, unfortunately. But yeah, decent win for Nathaniel Wood. We'll see if he can string together some wins. Consistency is always something he has struggled with as well. I know he's also kind of undersized, so his ceiling is a little limited. But I like watching him fight. I think he's very well rounded. It's just can he break through? Can he make that next leap? And still to be determined, I guess.
Well, Bruno Brazil. This was one of your big W's of the night.
Yeah.
Roy McCann. And this one's on me. I should have listened to you. You knew Molly McCann is a
You
bum.
laughed at me.
She always has been a bum. Listen, and I did that. MMA math did me dirty here. I thought Bruna Brazil struggled with Shauna Bannon. That it was going to be this little step up. Not a huge step, but a little step up was going to be a bit of a roadblock. But Bruna looked even better in this fight than she did in the last one, and got to display a little bit more of the grappling in this. And Molly just, she doesn't take a shot well. She doesn't really do much of anything well. And
No.
she got really exposed here again. And what else is new?
Good. I told you that head kick.
Yeah.
I know it was Marnik. I know she landed on Marnik Man, who's 4'3", but Molly McCann's not big either, and she also just doesn't know how to defend anything. I mean, her lead leg got chewed up in the first 2 minutes, and then the head kick landed and hurt. And also, I think she hurt Molly to the body. I think she might have kicked her to the body, if I remember right.
She shut her down. Yeah.
She hurt her with kicks to every part of her body.
Yep.
And
she
head
went
and
like
legs.
A hook and had her doing the chicken dance at one point. I was like, this is insane, man.
She got 3. She out wrestled her, out grappled her. I was kind of surprised by that, just because Bruna Brazil had been out grappled, out wrestled by Denise Gomes. Marnik Man even took her down a couple times. So I was like, Luma Luke Boonme. That's how she kind of secured that win over Bruna. So I was like, kind of not sure what we would see out of Bruna, but the talent's definitely there. The thing with her is really mental. She's kind of always gets in her own head. And Molly just doesn't. I mean, she got shut out completely. Yeah. Obviously, not much really happened after the first round, but I think Bruna decided to switch it up and say, let me mix in some wrestling, and she did, and she got, I think, 4 or 5 minutes of control after that first round. So landed some ground and pound, not much, but Molly McCann just doesn't have that game. I wonder how long they keep going to this well. Obviously they're not going to cut her yet, but Yeah, I mean, it's on the way. She's lost 3 of her last 5 or 4. And the only win coming against Belbitsa, who they cut twice before. So, I mean, look at her wins. It's Belbitsa, Hannah Goldie, Luana Carolina, Jiyeon Kim. It's just it's kind of funny. And before that was Belbitsa, Lipsky, Cachoeira. So,
aren't exactly a who's who murderer's row of the 15-25 division. So, I don't really care what they do with her. She's on the DMB now. Honestly, though, matchup dependent, because if she gets another bum like Luana Carolina or somebody like that, then maybe we could come back. But I don't even know. I think it's just better to stay away from betting Meatball Molly. How about Jake Hadley taking care of business against the Don? The Don is not good, Ty. You tried to tell me, you were right. I should never bet him. I don't know if I did. I think I stayed away smartly here. I think I thought about it. I think I really wanted to, but I don't think I did, and thank God that I did not. Kalen just walks forward. He doesn't really throw all that much, and he just eats shots to the face over and over and over again. So I don't really know what his game plan is. He doesn't really try to wrestle, and then he does, and then he has success, and then he doesn't do it again. So I don't really know. His takedown was 12% in this fight. I'm just good. I don't really need to see this again. He's just basically just a skillless wrestler. I don't know. I don't know how this guy, other than the fact that he's got an Irish flag next to his name, how he made it this far.
Yeah, me either. I don't think he has to worry about not being in the EA Sports UFC video game anymore. If this
I don't really think that your 2.5-star guy is not really going to be picked all that often, so it's probably not worth them making it.
And also, beefing with Patty Pimblett on the bus, you guys are in different parts of your career. I don't think that's necessarily the guy you really want to. He's on the main card. He's also, I don't think he's younger than Callan. I think they're the same age, but yeah, he's not good. I think this is probably the weight class for Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley was beefing with Makayev after it doesn't look like anybody likes Muhammad Makayev. So
who does? That shit boy. Yeah, well, let's just get into that. I mean, good win for Jake Hadley. I'd like to see him get back in the positive, category and maybe get a higher quality opponent. Maybe he could showcase more of his skills. There really wasn't much here other than him being backed up against the fence and just landing good shots the entire time. Really not much to do other than that when this Irish zombie is just walking towards you, eating punches like a robot. But how about Muhammad Mukayev wins a unanimous decision against Manel Kopp? He tried to disrobe Manel Kopp at a point during this fight, and Manel Kopp's both of his ass cheeks were out, which that is a very rarity when you watch the UFC. In the MMA game, your boy Beltran was heated. He was not happy with him. Mokaev just seems like such a douchebag. He really like the biggest dick that you could possibly imagine, and he wins.
Oh.
I don't know, brother. I don't know how big his piece is, brother. But Mokaev. It was announced after the fight. I mean, even nobody likes him. Not even Dana.
No.
Not
Dana definitely doesn't.
Not Hunter Campbell. Not Sean Shelby. They all were like. Even Dana was just like they don't want to sign him. It wasn't even like he was like don't sign this guy. He was like no, like no one likes dealing with him. He turns down all these fights. He probably cries all the time, and it just all so much nonsense related to him. And he literally said the PFL is going to get a great undefeated fighter. Like that is
That's
one
wild.
of the most wild. When I saw that on Twitter, I was like, "There's no way he actually said that." And then I went back and I watched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, he actually did say that shit." That's so crazy. But this is the one of the
Also,
times
they don't have a 125-pound division, so I wonder what is next for.
He's going up to 35 and probably taking a beating from somebody. That's if you had to guess, Mukaev was number 6 in the rankings.
Do they even have 135? They have 145.
I don't even know, dude. I mean, obviously, I'm not exactly locked in on the whole PFL weight classes and everything that they got going on over there. Some would say that I'm a big detractor of the PFL, but it's just wild. I've never seen like you said though. I mean, he's 12-0. He's not. It's not like he's a complete bum. He's actually really good.
He's only 23.
Yeah, he's 23. It's just there's got to be some other shit. I mean, apart from him just sucker punching Manel Kopp before the fight for absolutely no reason. I mean, he's had a lot of different.
That's wild.
Him talking shit to Tim Elliott, saying, "Why did you send desserts to my room?" And he's like, "Dude, you're a fucking moron. They sent it to everyone's room. You absolute like." It's just like no one. And then him posting pictures of his own shit after a fight. Like it's
there you go.
Like it just all goes back to just maybe this guy generally is not a good guy. And maybe they just don't. His skill. It's not exactly like his fights are must see either, because all of them have been boring. There has pretty much not had one exciting fight, other than maybe like a couple of those early ones where he like needed a finish at the end, and like the Tim Elliott one was okay, but he dominated that one. The Jafel Fieldhouse
fight was close.
Yeah, that was close. Malcolm Gordon, that was close.
Happened late.
Yeah, and these are all like where he needed like at the very last minute to finish a fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would like to see him stay in the UFC just to eventually get him exposed, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And Manel Kopp, I mean, it looked like he fucked his foot up like very early on in this fight. And you could see him like at one point he stops what he's doing to like try to like push his toe back in place. It was just like a weird night, and I just that fight was never going to live up to the hype, and it did like the absolute opposite. It was terrible. It was terrible. I can't even.
Now we see why I was on the prelims, right? We were talking about that. So I guess Manel Kopp's not used to fighting without shoes. Still, he's still getting used to that. We're not in rising anymore, but yeah, his win streak comes to a halt at 4. Not sure what's next for him. He's still young. He's very matchup dependent. I'm not sure. Maybe Alex Perez, you give Manel Kopp Alex Perez or somebody like that. I don't know, but yeah, who cares? I agree with a lot that you said that this fight just was a big stinker.
Yeah. Waste of time, waste of energy and excitement, and just let's keep it moving. How about Oban Elliott? This was a shocker for you, Ty. You were telling me you were very close to playing the Preston Parsons side on this, and you did not. You thought against it, but Oban was just better than him in all facets, it seemed, and Parsons wasn't even really able to get that wrestling grappling going. Maybe Oban Elliott's a little bit better than we like to have let on.
Maybe not. I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, he did fight Preston Parsons, so we'll guess.
Parsons are going 1-9 on takedowns was disappointing. Getting swept, getting taken down himself and controlled. I liked his leg kicks. Other than that, that's pretty much all he brought to the table. His boxing's not great. His striking defense isn't great. Getting outstruck by Oban Elliott, not a great thing. I mean, just getting absolutely pretty much washed.
Yeah.
in all facets of the fight. Not living up to your nickname, Pressure. Muhammad Makayev's nickname is the Punisher, so
Hey,
we have to go over some of these. We have to reassess some of these nicknames,
You
if
gotta
you
earn your
will.
nickname around here, man. Enough of this just given nicknames.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a dud from Preston Parsons. A good win for O'Bonnelly. He is now 3-0, 2-0 in the UFC, but 3-0 under the UFC banner, counting the Contender Series. And
I feel like they should count.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
I don't know. I mean, it should count. I mean, you are fighting under the UFC banner, like you said. So
yeah, but I guess you're not under contract technically.
Technically not. So I understand that. But how about Modestas Bukauskas? I'm going to give him the right to say his name once. But Mr. Bukaki gets it done via arm triangle. It was not a smooth sailing event for Mr. Modestas. Will Curry coaches him to a victory here against Marcin Prachnio. Modestas would look good, and then all of a sudden get hit and start, gyrating around doing the Harlem Shake around the octagon. And it was like, okay, this is not good. This might be over. And then he eventually just found that arm triangle, and he got the fight to the ground. And there's only less than 2 minutes left in this fight. He gets a W. So good win for Modestas.
Yeah, good. It's always good to get a finish.
Yeah.
And he got an arm triangle, not even from the most ideal position like Patterson did, but so I guess Bukauskas, he did get outstruck, but he was winning this fight.
Yeah.
I kind of skipped over. So it wasn't a comeback fight, but it was definitely a good finish.
Though, man.
That's why I guess
shady moments of this fight.
Yeah. And if he isn't able to take somebody down, he's going to have a long, long night. And I'm sure that'll happen next. He's very matchup dependent. Just fight somebody who doesn't hit hard or doesn't have takedown defense, something like that.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, good for him to get this because when he got cut usually when you get cut by the UFC and you come back, it doesn't really go well for you, and not any better than the first run in the second one. So it's good that he is now, I think, 3-1 since coming back to the UFC. His boy Will Curry is working on getting his way to the UFC too. So good for them. More kicks, Modestas.
All right. How about Sam Patterson, the future, taking out Mr. Kiefer Crosby? That guy stinks. He is not UFC. Yeah, he's just goodbye. Big Dick Keith gets put down one more time. 10-5 in his career. Hopefully, we never have to watch him fight in the UFC again. Sam Patterson showing why that hype train was kind of there was some real expectations behind his name after he came out of the Contender Series, and he got it was a rough first night. He really got put out bad, but he has bounced back since then with 2 submission victories. Curious to see what's next for Mr. Sam Patterson.
Yeah, second time Kiefer Crosby has been arm triangled, and I believe it's the first arm triangle of Crosby's career or Patterson's career. So, yeah, get him out. Get your Irish guy out of here, dude.
Yeah, bad night for the Irish. How about Mick Parkin? Getting that, like I told you, getting that TKO victory finally. You would need to get right fight. You need to put somebody down. You need to cash out a TKO bet. You call Lucas Brzezinski. And that man got hit on the side of his head, and he started doing that same chicken dance I've seen him do before, and Mick Parkin got him out of there. Good for Mick Parkin. Needed that W. And I hope they don't get rid of Lucas Brzezinski because I think I got give me that Vince Carter meme. I think I got one more in me.
I think I got 1-4 in the UFC. Is only one coming over against your boy Walter Walker, and that was just
Jesus. Are we ever gonna see him?
I maybe not. Hopefully not, but maybe he fights Johnny at heavyweight. One brother must go. Kind of like the Clean Game Bowl. We'll have the Walker Bowl.
The Clean Monster.
Sure. Yeah, good win for Mick. It's good that he got a finish. Again, some of these guys that win fights by decision, it's good that you're winning fights, but you always want to get a finish just so you can show Uncle Dana and these guys like, we got something.
Ty, I didn't know this was happening. He's fighting Junior Tafa.
Who is that? Oh, Walter.
The Clean Monster, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to sleep there, so
I forgot this Lucas Brzezinski fight even happened. Now that you said that, I was like, wait, when did that happen? Yeah,
if you could tell me one thing that happened in that fight, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, punches were thrown, kicks were landed. That's all I can say. Damon Jackson and that's right, not Fluffy, Alexander the Great. That did happen. This is another example of just a disgusting card that they forced us to watch, and they forced us to sit here and talk about it. And it should never have happened. Ty, Sean O'Bannon gets a W. Do you care? Are you excited about that at all? I mean, it's a split decision. This fight was boring. There was a lot of just grappling and nonsense happening. Do you care at all?
I mean, not really. I mean, it's a low-level fight. It's good that, she just started her career and she's 30. I'm kind of amazed by that. I mean, literally has been a pro for like a little bit more than 2 years now. She actually went the distance as an amateur against Dakota Decheva, girl in PFL who they're hyping up. She is good, but so I think I think Shawn is, I don't think she has a high ceiling at all. She's not very big. She kind of is like gets aggressive. Like she can give you like some Molly meatball vibes, but not really with the finish. Like I don't think she has. Yeah. She doesn't hit hard. She doesn't throw a lot. She's not quick, but she's a bit of a dog. She can beat somebody like that doesn't belong. And there's a lot of chicks down here at 115 that definitely don't belong. So Alice Ardolin's one of them. I mean, she was 9-5 coming into the UFC. Not quite sure what the allure was there. So
well, I think I might know, but it's not related to her inside the octagon ability. So maybe at this point you need to direct yourself to her fan account,
Instagram bio,
and maybe and just maybe find a way to support her if you were a fan of her and you want to see her keep fighting. So. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is
and also good for Sean O'Bannon. She didn't fight Ravina Oliveira because that chick would have killed her.
Yeah, so. Sean O'Bannon, it's going to happen. That's just all I'm going to say. It's going to happen. It's going to be bad. People are going to talk about it for many years to come. And I'm just glad Robert Breeschek didn't fight in this one. He actually Christian Leroy Duncan probably wishes he did because it would have been a double.
Yeah, he did.
But
I think so. 3 bonuses. Bobby or Patty gets 200. Mick and Tom get 100. I think that's the problem. So after the fight, I believe there was a bunch of decisions in a row, and Dana was like, "Yeah, I'm not raising the performance bonuses ever again, never." So it's like, oh, jeez, excuse us.
Yeah.
But he was not happy, and I don't think he is. I guess we're going back to 50.
I mean, I don't blame him. I wish he would just keep them at a certain level. He doesn't have to raise them. He wouldn't have to raise them every time if he kept them at a certain number. But my mic is starting to crap out bad here. This is
You're crapping.
Bad. I'm crapping big time. I'm feeling like Muhammad Mukayev in here. But listen. I don't blame him for being upset. Some of those fights were really bad. They were really boring. But they wouldn't ask you to raise them if they were stuck at $50,000 and you guys weren't a multi-billion-dollar company. That whatever. Who cares? Who gives a shit? None of them deserve the money this weekend. And Dana is a fucking crybaby. So that's
there
that.
You go.
UFC 304 in the books. Who cares? No one won any crypto. No one won anything, dude. It didn't matter. None of it mattered. Okay, because John Jones ain't gonna fight none of yous. And we'll never see any of these guys fight for another 6 months anyway. How about that? Next week, what do we got, Ty? We have Sandhagen and Nurmagomedov. That actually is a very fascinating, exciting
fight. That's a banger-anger.
I am very excited to watch that.
Pretty good card in
general. It is a pretty good card. They were setting this up, but what are they? They're in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, they're in the UAE.
Well, I mean, I know we love going to the UAE. We love supporting the Crown Prince Turkali, whatever his fucking name is. Oh, come on. What is it? His Excellency?
Turkey al-Sheikh.
Turkey al-Sheikh, His Excellency.
Turkali. He's not the pleasure man. This is not Anton Turkali.
No, my bad. Not to be confused. He's the true pleasure man. I mean, maybe the Crown Prince, it depends which way you look at it. If
we're in the Middle East, that means Shara Bullock can fight because his one eye is counts as 2, I guess, over here. But Cheeto Vera and Davison Figueiredo is going to be an interesting one. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I feel like Cheeto, yeah, that's happened. That was supposed to happen like 5 years ago, I think. Dern and Loopy, it's going to be a wrestle, booty cheek slapping fight.
Nice.
So that should be fun. Joel Alvarez, Elvis Brenner is actually going to be a banger to start the main card. I mean, I imagine both these men are going to be bleeding by the time the 2-minute mark is up in the first round. If we get to that fight. Our boy Azamat Murzakanov, it seems like it's been a while for him, so he's getting back against Menafiel. That's a tough test. Shamil Ghaziev's getting back in there against Dante Almeida's Ultimate Get Right fight. My boy Cowie Fernandez is back. He lost to DeCasey in his debut. Guram Kudataladze is back against the debutante, Jordan the Epidemic Vucenic from Cage Warriors. He hasn't lost since he lost to Paul Hughes.
A lot of ink on that gentleman as well.
Oh, he's yadded. He's yadded the fuck up. I'm sure his DMs are full of people who want to talk to him, if you will. Victoria Dudakova, also in this card. She's a hyped prospect at 115. She's pretty good. And she's fighting Sam Hughes. That's an easy win right there if I've ever seen one. Jai Herbert, probably one of the best nicknames in the UFC, the Black Country Banger. Jai Herbert, he's back against Rolando Bedoya. He needs to win badly. And then your boy, you said the next 185 champ at the end of 2025, not 2024. So you're getting him some time. Cedric Dumas, make sure get all that. It's been a while since we've seen him. Ruzaboev beat him up, and then he got arrested a couple times. So we'll see if he can beat Dennis Talul in the ultimate get-right fight.
Never good when, if you don't knock him out, then he needs to be cut. Even if he wins, cut him.
Cut him.
We're going to have a full breakdown episode this week leading into that. We're going to have bets, picks, predictions, information, everything you need to know. Tony Ferguson submission. We'll have it all. We'll have it all on there. So, ladies and gentlemen, until then, my dog is going to start barking his way onto this one. Until then, thank you, Sam. This is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hotbox. My name is Matt McSweeney. His name is
Ty Capone.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, make sure don't walk by my house with your dog or you will get barked at.